break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order. Intellectually petty radio on the stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you by M3S3 Clothing. Men make moves and suckers stand still. And as always, on the mighty Nerd DJ Radio Network, you already know, man, we only rock with legends around here, week after week, day after day, year after year. And 2025 is starting off just how it's supposed to, with one of the greatest MCs to ever touch a microphone. We got Mr. Freeway in the building. How you doing, King?
What's up, bro? I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, man. How's life? How's your family?
Everything good. One day at a time. Alhamdulillah.
I feel you on that one, man. I don't usually start off asking this question, but this is something just hit my spirit to ask you. This is something I ask everybody that comes on the show. You're sitting on a park bench, and God sits down next to you, and he or she says you can ask them one question. What would it be?
Mm. I gotta see the difference with me. I talk to God all the time. I talk to God at least 5 times a day. I'm Muslim, so I got a great relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to him all the time, but I don't know. I don't know, man. That's something that I really had to think about. Cause I like if you got, you know how they be asking people if would you take $500,000 or would you sit with Jay-Z? Like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine God right next to you. Like, you know, there's so many things that I probably would want to ask him. So that's a rough joint right there.
Yo, man, you've had a life though, bruh. Like you have seen the peaks and valleys. Maybe unlike 99% of humanity, I would argue that you are proof that God exists.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I have seen proof in my life that God exists, you know,
Mm-hmm.
wholeheartedly. So it's not a doubt in my mind that God exists. I know that for a fact.
Okay, let's lighten it up a little bit. Career wise, this is the first time you wrote a rhyme that you knew I'm that guy.
Man, I probably was like 12. I've been doing this so long. And I've been so confident about, you know, about my talent. You know, I never felt like I couldn't make it. I always felt like I could make it, you know. And when I seen people like Beanie Siegel and Eve and the Roots and people that I could actually see and touch
Mm-hmm.
do it, then I really felt like I could do it, you know.
How'd you meet Beanie Siegel?
I met Beans at a club in Philly called Dances. It was like a rap battle. And he was on stage battling a couple people and I was in the crowd. And he pulled me up on stage and he thought I wanted to battle him, but I got on his side and started battling the people he was battling. And we built a rapport from there. Then a few months later, he signed with Rockefeller and he, you know, reached back out.
That's some solid shit that you don't hear too often.
Hmm.
Okay, so you at home when you get the call that you about to get signed?
Uh, I was in the streets, you know. I actually went to rap for Jay. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I rap for Jay twice. I rap for Jay in Vegas at a Tyson fight, Tyson versus Bofa. But Jay didn't even remember that. Once I got signed to him, I was like, "Yo, you remember I rap for you at the Tyson fight?" He's like, "No, I don't remember that." And I feel him now. Now that I'm, you know, an artist, and you know, I mean, people we interact with on a daily basis. I feel him, like you know. But my old heads was tight with some people that was tight with him, and you know, I built a rapport with Bean, so we all went up there to rap for Jay. And when I started rapping, Jay ran out the room. He was super impressed. But I was on a run. I had a bench warrant for possession with attempted deliver. So I got back home in like a week. I got locked up. Then I had to sit down for a minute. And I was on house arrest. Beans was like, "When you get off house arrest, you're gonna be right with me." When I got off house arrest, I was right with him. Uh, 2000, I landed a verse on the Dynasty album, and the rest is history.
What surprised you the most about success?
Uh, what surprised me the most now is well, it's not really a surprise. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of faith in God, but able still being able to survive throughout the years. Like this is probably like my 23rd, 24th, or 25th year doing this professionally. And I never had to like go back to any of the behaviors and the things that I had to do to get money in my past. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
blessing to me. Like, there's a lot of people that was in my position, in the same position that I was in, and they had to resort back to some of our things that we used to do in our old life. And I was blessed enough not to have to do those things.
Dopest Philly nigga that the world never heard of.
Uh, my brother Scolito, they heard of him a little bit, but they don't recognize him like how they should. He was on my last album, Stimulus Package 2, on a record called Crystals and Keys. But I
Mm-hmm.
do believe that he gonna get his just due soon, God willing.
How many albums have you completed just for yourself?
You mean professionally?
Mm-hmm.
I think 8 or 9. But right now I got like 4 projects loaded, ready to go, and I'm working on a couple more. So in this business, you got to think ahead, and you got to be like 2 or 3 steps ahead.
Just Blaze.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got a chemistry, man, and I don't know. I mean, and it's just me. That's one of the best chemistries in hip hop.
Yeah, just Blaze, man. Not only do we have a great chemistry, but he's a great human being. Like, he did a lot for me. Like, a lot of my big looks
Mm-hmm.
just helped me facilitate those. Like, the record with Mariah Carey, the record with Faith Evans, like, just different opportunities. We just performed together in Philadelphia for Kamala Harris when she was on campaign, when she did her big campaign in Philly. We just performed together at Howard homecoming halftime game. We got great chemistry, and he's a great person.
Yo, the political shit, and I don't want to say it that way. I'm sorry. Let me back up.
I
The
feel you though. I feel you.
but
You kept it a bean. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that.
I just don't want to diminish people's politics per se,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of rappers that I saw, especially in Detroit, to be quite honest, um,
Hmm.
that were actually promoting Trump
Hmm.
prior to the election. Good
Hmm.
move or a bad move to align yourself politically with one side or the other?
I mean, the reason why I even started dealing with the whole political thing in the first place is um, I started dealing with the political thing when I was on dialysis. I did a campaign with Hillary Clinton because I was pushing for health care.
Mm-hmm.
But, when I was first diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes, I didn't have health care. So I was paying like thousands of dollars a month out of my pocket just for my medicine. And I was able to obtain some, some insurance of health care. But it's a lot of people that is in my position that wasn't able to do that. And in the country we live in, if you don't got health care and if you can't pay for your health care, you could die. They'll let you die. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I entered in the political field pushing for, fair health care for people. And then my son passed away in 2020
Mm-hmm.
when Biden was on campaign, and we shared a similar experience of both losing our son. So he reached out to me, and I like really appreciated getting reached out to from the president. And every time we chopped it up, it was, a lot of people didn't understand why I was standing next to him, but we shared a similar experience that I don't wish on my worst enemy, and that's losing a son.
Mm-hmm.
And if you share that experience with somebody, you understand what I'm talking about, and we build a rapport from there. So, that's the reason why I was in a political field. I wasn't just doing it to make money or just, to particularly stand next to a certain candidate.
So you were on dialysis for a few years, correct?
Yes, for 4 years.
they put the shunt in, and I don't know if people know. There's a few ways that you can actually get the dialysis. They can put a
Hmm.
port in your chest, or they can put a fistula in one of your arms.
Hmm.
I think I seen a picture where you had a fistula.
Yeah, most definitely.
The first dialysis, what was that like?
Man, I got diagnosed September 15th, 2015, and they immediately cut my chest open and put a permacath in my chest. And I did my first session of dialysis. It was 2 hours. I was in there in the hospital with my iPad and, just trying to figure out the best way to be comfortable while I'm doing this. And, it was just a real experience. The first time I walked into an actual dialysis clinic, and like you said, it's a few different ways to do dialysis. The way that I did dialysis was called hemodialysis,
Hmm.
where they actually hook you to a dialyzer. They stick you with two needles. One is called the venous, one is called the arterial. One of the needles suck the blood out of your body and put it into the dialyzer, so it could clean your blood and the toxins out of the toxins and the fluids out of your blood. And then the other needle pumps the blood back into your body. So that process takes 4 hours. Just walking in there, my first time, like, wow, this is really my life now. But through the grace of God, I was able to adjust and make the best of it.
Yo, that's crazy. Like, and I know people tired of me talking about my heart surgery, but 4 years ago, I had heart surgery, and there was just one time, like, as soon as they pulled me into the OR,
Hmm.
there was like 25 people in this room and me, and I remember just the light above me,
Yeah,
and a nurse bending down over me, and it was at that moment that I realized, okay, this shit is real.
yeah. I when I first went to get my was it the fistula? Yeah, when I first went to get my fistula done, I had one into a hospital not too far from where I live called Abington. And when I walked in there, it was like the same experience, but it was like I was like on General Hospital or something. Like everybody, like all the women were beautiful. Like it was like, was like this is crazy. And then when I woke up from the surgery, it's like everybody wants your autograph. Like it was a crazy experience. But shout out to John Hopkins. That's where I actually got my actual kidney transplant at. And it was an amazing experience. I felt like I was the only patient in the hospital. They treated me great. So it was cool. It was pretty cool.
You had the John Hopkins is one of the best hospitals on the planet.
Most definitely. Yeah.
So shout out to John Hopkins. Those that know, know. Oh,
Yeah.
who you listening to?
Baltimore period. Baltimore has a special place in my heart. That's I just performed for the mayor. It was his second term, and I just performed probably like a month ago at his inaugurational ball. So and God willing, I do workforce certification programs in Philly. We about to bring some of the same workforce certification programs to Baltimore too.
What
So
exactly is that?
workforce certification is like we have phlebotomy, we have medical billing and coding, we have medical tech, we have audio visual engineering. So where it takes students from the ages of 16 to 24 and beyond from I have a partnership in Philadelphia with a company called OIC, and I have a
Hmm.
partnership in Delaware with a company called the Community Education Building. And we partner with those organizations. We provide these courses for people from the city for free. And once they pass the course and they get the certification, we assist them in getting jobs in that area. And to date, we graduated 145 students.
Why you give a fuck?
I mean, why not? I didn't in my life before, I really started to turn my life around. I was in the streets, I was selling drugs, I was doing a lot of things that, at the time I didn't feel like I was affecting the community, but I was. So
Hmm.
the mission that I'm on, before I die, I want my good to outweigh my bad. So I'm trying to do as much good as I can. So plus I love my community. Like, what I mean? I was able to be blessed and have an opportunity. So I want to make sure that everybody get an opportunity.
Okay, so your first trip to Mecca,
Hmm.
what did that change about you?
Oh man, It changed a lot. I mean, it was a blessing to even be able to go. Like, I really feel blessed by Allah. I was able to go 2 times. A lot of people don't even get to experience that, and it just broadened my connection with Allah, opened my eyes. Like, as soon as I landed in Medina the first time, we went straight to Medina, and like soon as I was like on a bus and I seen the steeple from the Prophet's Masjid, I just started breaking down like this is real. I'm here. You could feel the connection. Like, it's a beautiful, beautiful experience.
Have you been like, did you convert to being a Muslim, or were you just
Yeah, I
raised
took my
Catholic?
shahada when I was like 12 or 13. Like, in Philadelphia, it's a huge Islamic influence in the community because it's a lot of people that's Muslim, So I was always real religious. My mom was a Christian. My dad was a part of this thing called the Nation of the Kibbalan. So I always had you know, always knew God existed, but I didn't know the proper way to worship Him. Like, and when I found Islam, I knew that it was the truth.
Okay, totally unrelated, because I got a little ADHD. You might, I don't know if there's anybody out there, anybody else out there who have a song with Jay Z and with 50 Cent.
hmm
What's similar about the two?
I mean, they both incredible hustlers. They both incredible people. In their own perspectives. Um, they both give people opportunities. They both on top of their game and in a position where they could say fuck everybody else. It's all about me. But they both was able to give other people opportunities and give other people a chance to feed their family and provide other people with opportunities. And you got to respect that about both of them.
I give you a magic wand, say you can go back and fix Rockefeller Records. Would you do it?
Of course. we know,
What
we know, we know that magic wands don't exist, and those things is fairy tales. But if it was a situation like that, I would definitely try to go back and fix it.
is there something that you looking back that you like? Okay, if X had happened, we would still be, a cohesive unit.
I can't even think like that because I'm Muslim and I understand. I have a firm standing in whatever happens the way it's supposed to happen. It was written by Allah. Of course, when things don't go the way that we want them to go, sometimes it could be depressing. It could be sad. You could be angry. You have a bunch of different emotions, but when you have the realization that things are going to happen the way they're supposed to happen, and the only thing that can change them is sincere dua and a sincere prayer, and really asking God to help change the situation. When you have that understanding, it's hard to think like that. And like they was keeping a lot of that stuff under the kufi. Like towards the end, I started noticing like things, and Jay would say certain things to me, Dane would say certain things to me, but I was really just minding my business and trying my best to elevate.
And at what point do you realize that okay, this is beyond the pale? What do I do next?
So Lenny S came to Philly, and shout out to Lenny S. He another great human being, very honorable brother. Like anytime I call him, he pick up. You know, he's the glue to a lot of things. Like and I got a lot of love and respect for him. And he came to Philly and told us that the rock is over. State y'all getting dropped, which was honorable because a lot of people wouldn't come to Philly to tell a bunch of Philly niggas that they just got dropped from their label. Like you might not make it back. Like but alhamdulillah for the good and the bad. The way things work out, and that's when I knew. Like when he said we would drop, I remember that fucking feeling. I was sitting there like, yo, my stomach started hurting, and it took me a second, probably like a month to really wrap my mind around it and figure shit out. And I'm like, the hard work is done. I'm already famous. I'm already a household name. So I went back to what got me signed to Rockefeller in the first place,
Hmm.
and that's hard work, dedication. Dropped a bunch of independent projects. I did this thing called Month of Madness where I dropped a record every day for 31 days. On the 31st day, I dropped two records. I maintained my relationships. I was able to sign back with Rock Nation and drop a project called Think Free in 2018, which was a huge accomplishment for me because when we got dropped from Rockefeller, they said Jay could never sign anybody back that he dropped. And I guess they was just saying that because I was able to sign back.
I mean, Jay wasn't just Jay at that point. You know,
Yeah.
he was Jay Z. It was
Mm.
complete. Shout out to Jay Z, man. Just the business acumen.
Yeah, most
Just
definitely. You gotta take your head off
crazy.
to him.
Yeah.
A lot of, he definitely had foresight, and a lot of the things the city was going to do, he did. Like we got a song called Rockefeller Billionaires where he broke the whole shit down for you back then, and now you see everything that he said coming to fruition.
That's crazy. I'm watching the video. Oh, I can't remember the brother's name. But he was basically saying, be a man. Like if you say you're gonna do something, do it.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I would say to Jay Z, I mean, I don't know the guy. But from the surface, it seems like the nigga stands on whatever he stands on.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. As
Biggest
far as I
disappointment.
everything he told me he's going to do, he did for me. So
Biggest disappointment with the current state of hip hop.
um, I can't even really say I'm disappointed. Like everything changes, everything elevates. You know, uh, it's different from when I first came into the business, but I'm not disappointed. You gotta adjust.
What's better about this generation of hip hop than its forefathers?
You can get more money. You definitely can make more money. These youngins is making way more. Like in the beginning of their careers,
Yeah.
they're making way more money than we did in the beginning of our careers. Like the fact that you could press a button and your music could be everywhere and reach everywhere, like that's a blessing. Like it's a blessing.
What was the last project you put out?
I just dropped a project in July called the Stimulus Package 2 with Jake One.
Do you have a procedure as far as like, okay, like does the project just come together, or do you say this is, I want to do A through Z because of this? Like, do you have, you know what I'm saying, like, do you have
I,
kind of like
I
a
the
vision of
way I
how it should
work,
go?
I record all the time. Like I'm about to go when I get finished talking to y'all, I got a session tonight. I gotta go
Okay.
to the studio. I work all the time, but when I'm putting a project together, I like to put a plan in front of it. Like, what I'm saying, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do, this is how we're gonna do it, and then execute. The best I feel like the best work I do is when it's executed and when I have a plan. Like.
Top five Philly MCs, dead or alive.
Black Thought, Beanie Siegel, PD Crack, um, EST, and Schoolie D.
Schoolie D does not get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, Schoolie D, single handedly, started gangster rap. A lot of people don't even know that gangster rap started in Philadelphia.
And I can't remember the name of the song,
PSK.
because Ice T, and love Ice T, but 6 in the
Hmm.
morning sounds eerily like that song.
Yeah, most definitely. Ice T will tell you. You know.
Oh, I've never heard that part, but yo, man, your man's was wilding back in the day. Oh,
Hmm.
shout out to Schoolie D. No, 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 Will Smith.
I mean, I take my head off to Will Smith for what he done and his accomplishments. He probably be number 6 to me for sure. He's definitely in the top 10. But I'm talking about, Will Smith is more than just a rapper. He accomplished so many other things. And we're judging it by lyricism, by being an MC, like, that those type of things. So, that's my mind frame with it.
I think he gets punished for being uber successful. that we kind of don't look at him as an MC. We look at him as a conglomerate.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think it's a punishment. Like,
Not when you go to the bank.
yeah, it's not a punishment. He's definitely a dope MC, but the type of music that I make, and the music that attracted me to hip hop in the
Mhm.
first place is the artist that I name. Like, I definitely got a lot of love for Will Smith, and I would love to do some work with him. Me and Jazzy Jeff got a great relationship. That's my brother. Like, but it is what it is.
I was there an offer on the table that you said no to, that you,
I
as
mean, when I
far as a
first,
collaboration, that maybe you should have said yes to?
um, I remember, they wanted they wanted me and Beans to get on the grind and remix, and Beans ain't want to do it. I feel like that's
Oh,
something we could
you
have did that would have been
kidding
dope.
me?
Yeah.
Yo, that would have been
Hmm.
this nigga Beans, man. Like, just from an MC standpoint,
Hmm.
that dude was god tier.
He still is one of the dopest lyricists, like one of the best pens, especially out of Philadelphia, hip hop in general. Not too many people could go back and forth with Jay on the whole project and stand tall. Like,
I just from a straight up artist standpoint, MC standpoint, if I got to pick between the two, and this is no hate or anything, but if I got to pick between the two, I'm picking Beans.
yeah, a lot of people got that same point of view. You know.
You know, how do you, like, when you break down, you got your top five or whatever? Do you have particular categories? You say, okay, this is how I judge an MC.
I mean, I judge an MC by lyricism, by connectivity. If it connects with me, connects with my heart, connects with people. If I could close my eyes and envision what they're talking about, if they could make a dope song, if they make dope hooks, it's a lot of different categories that goes into being a dope MC for me.
What made you fall in love with hip hop?
And then just hip hop in general. Ever since I was a little kid, I loved music. All my music teachers loved me. Like, I remember learning how to put poetry together and just being fascinated with words.
At what point did your parents say, okay, we believe you, son, you can do this hip hop stuff?
When I made it, I mean, they never didn't but not believe in me. Like, I used to do it all the time, but like, being a star is far fetched for anyone. Like, a lot of people don't think it can happen. But I wasn't in a situation where people tried to shit on my dreams, or my family tried to shit on my dreams. When I like I told you, I got arrested for possession with attempt to deliver. I had to sit down for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and when I came home, I had a conversation with my mom, and she was like, "What are you going to do? Like, you can't go back to selling drugs because you're going to go to jail. Like, you're going to go back to jail." And I told her, if this rat thing don't work by the end of the year, I'm gonna get a job. And I just was saying that. So we when the Dynasty came out, we had like an album release party or something in Philly, and my mom was there and Jay and everybody was there. And my mom was like, "You said you was gonna do it before the end of the year and you did it." I was like, "Oh shit, I did say that." I was just saying that though. I can't even picture myself getting a job. I had one job. I used to sweep here in a barber shop when I was young, like when I was in like middle school or something. Like, so.
Nigga, that is priceless right there, because I've been working for 30 plus years and this shit is ass.
Mhm. No, it's
Although,
definitely a blessing, man. I don't take nothing for granted.
yeah,
It's
and
definitely a blessing.
it's a blessing that I'm able to do it out. I'm in a better position than some people. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
that's a fucked up way to have to look at shit, but it's true.
Yeah,
So,
man.
I'm thankful for that. But nigga, you can just wake up at 8 o'clock or wake up at noon.
I
Oh,
could, but I don't. I don't.
where'd the drive come from? Where's the work ethic come from?
My mom and my dad, I realized, like, throughout the years, and like, just dealing with them directly, hearing people talk about them, like, I get it from my mom and my dad.
And I don't know how this is like universally, but for me, after I had children, I understood my mother 1,000% better.
Most definitely.
At what point do you look at your parents as people and respect the grind that they did for you, as opposed to tools and vessels, if you will?
I mean, I always looked at my mom and dad and respected them, and valued them for bringing me here, taking care of me. As soon as I was in a position to take care of them, I was on that, like, trying to do as much for them as I can and make their workload as easy as possible. Like, I pride myself in taking care of my family. It feels amazing to be able to do that.
Yo, you've had a lot of, we started off saying you had a lot of ups and downs.
Hmm.
You lost two children.
Hmm.
Having to deal with that publicly and having everybody either ask you about it or offer condolences or bring it up when you don't want to be bothered. How difficult is that part?
uh I mean, I'm in a public eye, so it's my life. Like, I don't even look at it like that. Like, me being so open with my life and the things that I go through, I do it for other people. Like, I know there's a million people that lost somebody that's going through what I was going through. Like, and for me to be able to talk about it and, share with them my feelings and the way that I cope with it is actually helpful for me and for other people. It's a blessing. You know, uh
I'm not sure what happened right there. My guess is he got a phone call. That usually does that. Um, and just if you're out there and
yeah, my
oh,
bad, somebody.
yes, Mike must have called you. That usually
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And you were just talking about how you were able to cope with losing your children.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm Muslim, and we have a strong understanding that God's not gonna put nothing on us that we can't handle, and I live by that. And our prophet, peace be upon him, Prophet Muhammad, he lost six of his children and was able to, cope with it, and he's our example. Like, in Islam we believe that he's the best of mankind, and to have an example like that go through some of the same things that you're going through, and to see the way that he handled it with grace really helps a lot. Like,
I did not know that.
yeah, yeah. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, lost six of his seven children. And one of his children died in his arms. And in Islam uh we follow the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Hadiths. So the Hadiths are stories that either companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or the Prophet himself, peace be upon him, collected these stories and things that he did in his life, and the way that he coped with different search situations, and being able to read the Hadiths and study the Hadiths really helps a lot. Also, like,
So for each individual, and pardon my ignorance, but does each person also not necessarily collect their own hadiths, but develop their own collection of stories that they tell to the next generation?
no, the Hadiths are something that is for the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Like, Hadiths are something that's associated with him only.
Okay.
His companions and people that was around him, and people that it's like firsthand. They're like firsthand experiences with people
Okay.
that was with the
Okay.
Prophet, peace be upon him. Like, there's something that's specific to him. Like, ain't like I could have hadiths, like.
You know,
It would probably be called something different or something if it was other people, you know. But these are it's like a guidebook to go along with the Quran and the Sunnah. You know, these things that are in place for us to help us navigate through life. You know.
yo, life is some crazy shit, man. And it's interesting. Like I'm an old nigga, you
Hmm.
know, and when I'm talking to young cats and kind of giving them the breakdown, the decade breakdown. My 20s, I was an ain't shit nigga completely. My whole 20s is just throw this nigga away at 20 to 29. I was horrible. 30, you kind of wake up a little bit.
Hmm.
40, you start thinking about what they're going to think about me when I'm not here.
Hmm.
Is that a fair assessment of life so far for you, or am I missing something?
No, my Jones is a little different, but it's a fair assessment for people. Like you know, I never really felt like I was not shit. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I might have did some shit that you know I shouldn't have did, but I never was like I never fully never gave a fuck. Like, you know, I always cared about people. Like, you know,
Yeah.
even when I was selling drugs, I felt bad about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I came to a point where I was like, I can't do this. Like this is not cool. You know, by the time I was 2021, I was famous. Like, you know, when I was, you know, I understood that I was blessed. So I was trying to, you know, do the best that I can. And I feel like God always helped me maintain a balance. Like before I went too crazy with feeling myself or thinking that I'm better than anybody, God would do something to humble me. Like, you know, so I was always able to maintain the balance. And I think that
I,
has a lot to do with me being Muslim and my understanding of life.
oh yeah, I was definitely an ain't shit nigga for some years. Although I will say I did kind of care a little bit too. Maybe ain't shit is too strong per se, but comparatively speaking, for the rest of my days, oh yeah, that 20 to 30 decade, oh I was just not a good person. And I remember kind of to your point, and he must have got a call, but kind of to his point about even when you was doing fucked up shit, caring. There was, I don't know, I stayed in this crack house maybe 30 days, and the thing that we was using her house had two sons. I did more for those kids during my 30 days there than she did. I saw her kids more than she did. And I've never forgotten that experience. And I've always wondered how those two kids turned out because I always felt bad for them. They didn't change clothes literally a whole month. I don't recall them, and I'm not sure what happened. He did hang up, but I don't recall like her doing anything but trying to get high. And I blamed myself for the longest time. And then I blamed her specifically and only her. And the older I got, the more I realized that we were equally complicit in fucking over her kids for that month. And that's never went away. And I've always regretted that. Um, but anyway, I'm not sure if Freeway is coming back. I hope that he is. Oh, damn. There we go right there. We only got a few minutes left anyway. Yeah, we ain't got but a few minutes left anyway. I was just telling the people, man. Um, First off, I want to thank you for the honesty and for stopping by, man. This has truly been an honor, bro. It
You
is.
know, so I'm good, bro.
I'm proud of you too. If nobody else told you today,
Thank you.
yeah, I don't think that we tell each other that enough. Especially black men don't tell that black man to black man.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it, man.
What's your relationship with the mayor there?
Oh, we that's my dog. I actually if you look on my page today, I posted last year today. I performed at her inauguration party that she had when she was in office. And we got a lot of initiatives that we're trying to do together. Like we're trying to expand the workforce development work that I'm doing. She's doing an amazing job in Philly We had 266 homicides in 2024, which is down by 35%. And we haven't had this low homicide rate since 2014. So she's really doing an amazing job in Philadelphia. And she's a black woman. So we supporting her 100%.
Did you see this Freeway when you were 20?
Nah, man, I really didn't. And it's a blessing, man. That's why I say all the time we was able to take lemons and turn them into lemonade. When I was diagnosed with kidney failure, people was telling me, you can't even tell nobody. People wanted me to hide it from the world, and I felt horrible about that because it happened to me, and I know so many. It could happen to so many of my fans and people in general, could just not even having the knowledge. So it was important for me to spread the knowledge, and today I have some amazing partnerships with some great companies. We're able to help a lot of people, the workforce development programs that I'm doing, just seeing some of these students graduate and being able to pursue their dreams means a lot to me. It really does a lot for my heart, and it's a blessing. I could have lost two kids, my dad, and been fucked up out here. What I'm saying? I'm able to, make moves, I'm able to elevate. In Islam, it's a saying, with every difficulty comes ease. And
Hmm.
we're able to take these situations and learn from them, and try to make the best out of them, try to help as many people as we can, and God willing, it'll count when it's really time for it to count.
Yo, and I was telling the story when you taking your phone call about when I was younger and I lived in this crack house for a month.
Hmm.
You know,
I used to work in the crack house,
well,
so
when I say living it, that just makes me feel better to say that. But
hmm
I was working in that motherfucker for a month,
hmm
and how
I damn near lived in there. When I got locked up
uh,
for possession with intent to deliver, they actually came inside the crack house and got me. And when I went to court, they said that they didn't have a warrant for the crack to come in the crack house. So they was like, yeah, we seen them selling drugs and outside on the streets. And I'm like, these motherfuckers is lying. That's my first experience with the law lying on you, and cops have actually lied to they do anything to get you locked up. I was like,
yeah,
damn, this shit ain't fair. They ain't even telling the truth.
yeah, it doesn't seem like that's gonna change.
Hmm.
You know, but what ended up happening is that the lady's house that we were using, like I actually did more for her two kids for that month than she did,
Hmm.
and it always is still to this day. I regret that experience, and it makes me, like
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
crazy.
bad for those kids.
Yeah, we used to. It was the guy house we were selling. The I used to work at. He was funny. He was on drugs too. So we give him some stuff, and he'd just be happy. But then, one day, it was we probably did 100,000 that day, and he overheard us talking about it. He was like, "Y'all sold $100,000 in my mother house." Yeah, it was crazy, yo. Those experiences, man. But alhamdulillah, I was able to get away from that life, and turn my life around and try to do as much positive as I can.
Yo, man, I can't possibly thank you enough for this interaction. It's been a dope ass conversation, bro.
Thank you, bro.
And you are truly appreciated more. Now, the MCing part is, nigga, you dope.
Thank you, bro. No, I appreciate it, man.
But
You're
the
pretty
life
cool
part,
yourself,
nigga.
from from the interview.
Oh, I
You
appreciate
know.
that, but nigga, but the
Mhm.
life part, bro, like you are a testament to strength.
Yeah, man.
So
When you put in these positions, you gonna either stand tall or fold. And I ain't trying to fold. So
I'm still, like I have my moments where I'm still angry with God about my mother.
yeah, that's why you should look into Islam, man. That's the beauty of Islam, man. I could never be angry at God. I understand. I understand what's going on. Like, and I understand everybody. Eventually, like, in Islam, when we bury our people that passed away, we wash them, we wrap them, we place them in the grave ourselves. So we have a connection with them. Like, we realize that eventually that's gonna be us. So, you know, um, we get a lesson from it. And we understand that, we don't even like our we don't own we don't own nothing. I don't own this shirt on my back. This house that I'm in. Like, the nice cars I got outside. Like, if I pass away right now, the, somebody's gonna get the car, somebody's gonna get the house. I'm not gonna be able to take none of this stuff with me. Like,
Yeah.
only thing we're able to take with us is our deeds. Our good deeds, our bad deeds. Only thing that we could leave behind is, things we leave behind things that can help us in the next life, like libraries and things that people can learn from, and whatever legacy that you left on this earth that's going to benefit people. Those are things that can help you, but everything else is irrelevant. Like, when you realize that it's better for you, like, and I can never be mad at God. Like, like I told you, our prophet, peace be upon him, lost six of his children, and we look at him like the best of mankind. So if it happens to him, how can I be mad at God for it happening to me? Like, who am I? Like, every like, is you feel bad for losing your mind, but somebody lost their mind while we writing down on this interview. People lost their mind.
Facts.
This time that we took to do this interview,
Yeah.
somebody in the world is feeling how you feel right now, and they just lost their mind.
Yeah.
And if everybody was mad at God, it'd be a bunch of mad people on this planet. For real. It's something that we can't avoid. Like, that's something that's unavoidable. Like, and then when you have things that are not natural, like losing children, like
Yeah.
nobody expects to bury their children. Like, you know what I'm saying? So can you imagine how that felt? Like when is man, listen. And if I had that mind frame that I was mad at God, I would be very upset. I probably wouldn't be able to do this interview right now. I'd be so mad. Like, you understand? So,
Mm-hmm. You know what? I kind of needed to hear that. So I
mhm.
appreciate you for that wisdom.
That sounds good,
On that
man.
note, man, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got shit to do. This has
Hmm.
been an honor and a privilege. I'm not
I
sure
got
if there's
people to do
anything.
and things to see.
I'm not mad at that. I'm about to just go upstairs for a little bit. But we do got Lady Luck coming up at 7 o'clock. In case
Yeah,
you
shout out Lady Luck. Lot of love, respect for Lady Luck. Jersey.
one more question from Tiz this season, and then we out. I have to ask, how was 1-900 Hustler made? And that was a fun record to do. And is
Hmm.
there more verses that we never heard?
1-900 Hustler. I was at that time I was just in the studio around. Like I was got out of jail not too long ago. Beans was fulfilling his promise to me, having me around. Um, they actually Beans was supposed to rap on it, but they gave me the opportunity. So I'm like, I gotta kill this. Like, and right before my verse, Jay was like, this your introduction. Jay was like, this is your introduction to the world, so I'm gonna set you up right. So we put the elevator music right before my verse. The chick playing the violin, then I come in first things first, and the rest is history. Like, that was probably like one of the best intros in hip hop.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The video had just disappeared there for a
Yeah,
second,
yeah,
but we can still hear you. Wait,
yeah.
wait. I'm sorry, and I lied a little bit because I got one more question. There's a clip at a 76ers game of
Hmm.
the people doing your song. I know you've seen that clip.
Yeah, for sure. I go to the games a lot, so it's a
Did you?
blessing, man. Especially all these years later, like for that song to stand the test of time. And I got a few of those records that came out in that time period, and I'm still able to perform and make a lot of money performing them. So it's a blessing, man. I feel like them type of songs connect with people's hearts, so they're gonna be around for a minute.
Yo, and shout out to the sister in the video. That was
Yeah, yeah.
oh
She
my
actually
god.
from my hood, man. So it's dope to see her get that light.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, man. I felt
Hmm.
her feeling you. Anyway, on that note,
Hmm.
man, I'm gonna let you go. You have a phenomenal evening on purpose, man.
So yeah.
I'm not sure if there's anything I can do for you, but if there is, please let me know and I got you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. Love.
No
Thanks
doubt,
for
man.
having me.
Oh, it was an honor, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Yo, I don't know if you heard, but I got Lady Luck coming on at 7 o'clock. Shout out to everybody that tapped in. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. The resume is unlike your favorite podcast. We crazy over here. We only rock with legends day after day and year after year. And today is absolutely no exception. I am Jobs. I'm your host of Intellectually Petty Radio, and I'm out. Oops. Bam. Nah.